Been in the last show. Why are we here stuck at this site? Okay, let's go.
Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome back to the Beluga series. And this episode is about how you're fat because you're not social climbing. I just got done going to the gym. So I went on the elliptical for about an hour and then I just got done drinking my fruit smoothie with acai berry and blueberry. I love making fruit smoothies after a workout, by the way. A lot of people are over exercising and then they're eating back all the calories that they just lost. You never want to do that. You want to try to have maybe like a light protein shake or something light after a workout. Just a tip. But a lot of women are belugas because they have no lives. They spend their lives scrolling on Instagram. That's all they do. They wake up in the morning, they scroll on TikTok, they scroll on social media, they sit in their own sweat in their musty ass bed under their musty blankets. They never get up. They don't get up. They don't go anywhere. They don't have anywhere to go. So there is no motivation for them to work out. So they just sit in their house and act like a beluga and eat chips. And then they have Dorito crumbs all in the sheets of their bed. Their bed literally smells like Doritos. And I was thinking about how this morning, a part of why I went to get on the elliptical is because I've got a lot of events coming up for Juneteenth. So, Juneteenth, if you're watching this and you're not black, this is like a black holiday basically, and I have a lot of fun stuff coming up with my friends. So I was like, let me go get on the elliptical and kind of get off this extra water weight because I want to look snatched in my crop top. But when you think about women who have this beluga mindset, if they don't have any events to go to, if they don't have any vacations or anything to look forward to, of course they're going to be a beluga because all they do is stay hidden in their apartments. Their apartment.
And this goes back to what I'm saying to you with what she is saying. Because when you have a social life, now get me wrong, we're talking about social surmounting. There's a difference, there's levels to this. I mean, anybody can, when I'm talking about social surmounting, I'm talking about levels. I'm talking about climbing. I'm talking about uh, getting to a certain level in your life or places, certain places, perfect people, places, and things. I'm talking about a certain frequency here. It's not so much of that. Anybody can have, of what the fuck. Anybody can have something where uh, they have friends, but vibrationally, that friend circle can be a frequency of low lives. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a higher life of social surmounting. See what I'm saying? Social surmounting of whatever industry you're in and climbing yourself up or moving, surmounting yourself up in that social circle. That is what's being talked about here.
Apartment has become a prison cell. Their job has become a prison for them. All they do is work, eat, and sleep. That's it. They go to work, they come home, they eat food, then they go to sleep, and then they repeat. So their lives revolve around being a cubicle slave. Their lives revolve around what's happening on TikTok. You know how there are the
When you look at them and you talk to them, you will find that they have a very lazy life. No matter how busy they try to make their life would look, they have a very lazy life. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, you have to sit down. This is why I say, as you look max, as you elevate yourself, I need you to understand. Sit down, listen to these people, and look at them. Pay attention. Ask questions. Check out their resume. Let me just say. So I was talking to another screenwriter, someone who has actual plays done, working on a musical, documentaries. This person has held events in Chicago. This woman is well on her way, right? And I was like, should I make a spec script for this said particular show? Because we was just over there just cutting and cackling up over this show. So, and I said, shit, should I write a spec script and just like rewrite the fucking storyline just to get some practice in? And she was like, why not? Go ahead and do that. And the reason someone like her would say that, because someone like her more than likely wrote spec scripts in order to get her practice on, in order to learn writing styles and such like that. So, Chewy, that's work. That's work. That's work to sit down and do, to sit down and write a spec script. That's work to sit down and read a script and then write down the format of that script. It's work to sit down and look at your own work and then look at your own format. That's work. You know, um, I recently had a situation. Well, the meeting I was in, I was looking at the storyline and I was looking at the structure and I was watching and I was looking, and they had did something that in school we were taught to not do. Right? We were taught to just not do this. That this was like a huge pet peeve. Don't do this. Like rule number one in screenwriting. And I saw that they were clearly doing that throughout their script. Now, I didn't say anything. I just went on with myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I just did, right? Well, here it is. You build a high quality or high value social surmounting life to put yourself out there, to meet the people, to get to know the people, make friends with the people, because it gives you more than that. It's not that you get to be or touch elbows with celebrities or people who are at that like as celebrity status. It's not so much about that. It's about self preservation, self elevation, and self regulation. Again, the example I've given before, somebody like a Sukiyana cannot go to a sophisticated like party. You get what I'm saying? She don't have the proper social cues and appropriate behavior to be at such party. Do you get what I'm saying? I've seen her at a place where she was getting in the car and the guy was doing his job. And she was like, "You want to touch my ass? You want to touch my ass?" And I'm just like, "Huh?" You know what I'm saying? So let's continue.
Those fitness influencers on TikTok, or like the reality shows like The Bachelor and all that. Think about the types of women who spend all day long watching Netflix, or they spend 8 hours a day scrolling. Usually they are women who are belugas. They're belugas because they don't have anywhere to go. And so they're living in all.
Even if they're not belugas, they're out of shape. I mean, even if you find a woman who may watch this stuff, something about her is still out of shape.
Almost like this virtual reality. Their whole entire life revolves around going to work and then scrolling their phone. Their life revolves around an iPhone. And it's always the same bad bodied women who want to body shame skinny women. And I see some people are saying, oh, well, Exoticals United, you guys are being fat phobic. You guys are body shaming. No, I'm not shaming you. If you want to be shaped like a refrigerator, then be shaped like a refrigerator. If you want to look like a linebacker, that's why I support linebackers. Linebackers do a good job at blocking the ball. They help teams win the Super Bowl. So if you want to look like a linebacker and go into the NFL, I support that. I fully support that. But it's like Have you ever noticed that the main women who will shame you if you're in shape, let's say you're wearing short shorts or you're wearing a crop top,
Right.
it's always a bad bodied woman who is
Yeah.
shaped like a sack of laundry that
Yep.
wants to shame you for showing off your body. And it's like, yeah, of course I'm going to show off my body. I worked hard for this body.
Mm,
I haven't had a slice of cake in 6 months. So hell yeah, I'm going to show off my stomach. Hell yeah,
absolutely.
I'm going to show off my toned booty. What am I supposed to do? Hide?
Remember what I okay when it goes to, as y'all call the belugas, they don't have, okay, when they're walking around in the hood or wherever they are with those bodies, with those outfits, those horny dogs who they don't go nowhere themselves are attracted to that bullshit, therefore making them feel like something special. But for them to have bodies that look crazy like that and to go to a social surmounting place where most of the women's bellies are flat or with 4 packs or 6 packs, they're going to check themselves a little bit more. I also see belugas who you can't even be in a private social setting by yourself, just eating by yourself, living your best life without one of them looking over and saying something. And they don't have good social skills.
In the abyss like you? Am I supposed to stay trapped in my apartment like it's a prison cell? And for all those women who say, oh, well, Tyla dresses like a hoe, or all these celebrities and stuff, they just dress like hoes. No, you're perceiving them as a hoe because you would be a hoe if you had a body like that. If you had the same body type as a Victoria's Secret model, you know damn well you'd be wearing belly shirts, you'd be wearing sports bras, you'd be wearing the same shit. So I don't want to hear the excuse that, oh, well, women, they just think they're better. And so they're just trying to show off. Okay, you're admitting that you put fit bodies on a pedestal because you're saying that it's a flex to have a nice body. But one of the benefits of having things to look forward to in life, first of all, not only is that good for your mental health, having things to look forward to. By the way, that's a part of why I love holidays. For those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that I am extremely festive. I'm very dorky, I'm very nerdy.
Oh, she,
I celebrate every single holiday. So
yeah,
Memorial Day, 4th of July,
right.
Juneteenth, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. I
Got
celebrated Mardi Gras. I got one of those little
when
cakes.
is Mardi
So
Gras?
I will celebrate every single holiday because I love how the holidays kind of represent getting in a festive mood. It always boosts my mood whenever it's a holiday.
When I could put that waist trainer around my waist, do you understand how happy I was? And I did not OD. I did not give it a good uh, super tight squeeze. I didn't do none of that. I tugged it in enough that it can clip together, clip together, clip together, clip together. And I was so happy because that showed me how much weight I lost. 'Cause I remember when I was trying to put it on and it was just sliding and popping everywhere. Like whoa, I've lost a lot of weight. Then I even pulled out fits that I could not fit, like my bodysuit, my short bodysuit, and all these little things. And I was just like, okay, this is me rebuilding the wardrobe.
Whenever I go in the grocery store, I love going in the grocery store and then seeing all the cupcakes and all the different cookies where they decorate it with like whatever holiday is going on. So when it comes to women who have this beluga mindset, it's like, bitch, that's why they created holidays. It's so you could have something to look forward to. You're telling me you've got nothing in your life to look forward to? No holidays, no family members, going out with your sister, going to brunch, going to a concert, going to a museum by yourself, going to the park. You're telling me that you have done such a bad job at maintaining positive, healthy relationships, and you've done such a bad job at being grateful for what's going on in your life to the point where you're just going to sit in the bed and eat Doritos all day long. Women with a beluga mindset, they're not eating because they're hungry. They're eating because they want stimulation. The food stimulates their senses. They don't have anything else that's exciting. When you think about people who go downtown or they go sightseeing, why do they call it going to see the sights? Well, it's because you're going to stimulate your senses. You're looking at pretty things, you're looking at the lights during Christmas time, or you're looking at fireworks on 4th of July. So that's a form of stimulation. So you don't need the food as much when you're actually going out and being stimulated. So this weekend, I went to a festival with my friends and I got 30,000 steps within like 2 days. And I did not eat. So I was wondering, I was like, why am I so tired? And it was because I literally forgot to eat because we were at a festival. There was so much going on. There were people performing, there were like celebrities there. So I wasn't thinking about going to binge on cupcakes. I wasn't thinking about going to the gas station and getting a whole bunch of Twinkies because I had plenty of stimulation. So women who have a beluga mindset, what they need to do instead of talking shit about women who are in shape, what they need to do is find a different way to stimulate themselves besides food. And this is why I also say that if a woman is bad bodied, she's probably bad at social climbing. And let me explain that term, bad bodied, because I already know people are going to be like, Exoticals United, you can't call people bad bodied. Okay, well, if you think your body looks bad, then according to your own talking points, you are bad bodied. You're bad bodied. Okay, I'm done being a troll. But it's like, when you're leveling up and when you are planning things for yourself, having a whole schedule for yourself, trust me, you're not even going to have time to think about food. Like, I already have my calendar. I told you guys already, I'm overbooked every weekend for the rest of the year. And part of that is because I have an online business. Also, it's because I'm trying to balance like my real life with my online stuff. So I'm already double and triple booked every single weekend. I'm already booked up several days out of the week because I actually do stuff in my community, like where I live. I go to different places. And I feel like a lot of women with this beluga mindset, they overthink. So they feel like, oh, if I have nowhere to go, of course I'm going to sit home and watch Netflix and eat.
I want
And it's
to
like,
tell you
sis,
something. I want to tell you the reality. Who is this woman? She is gorgeous. Okay. Listen, they can't socially surmount because many of them talk very nasty about other people. Many of them have harsh criticism of other people. Many of them, if someone is being successful, they'll quickly put you back to making sure you know about their past and what they said and what they used to
do
do.
you know how big this world is?
Hate
You don't have to go somewhere epic every single day. You don't have to go to a festival every day. Just go out to the park. You can go walk your dog. Oh my God. Speaking of dogs, one of my neighbors, he has more of a beluga mindset, so he never leaves his apartment. And his dog, every single time this guy takes his dog out, the dog literally pees everywhere because it's been waiting so long just to go to the bathroom because he doesn't want to leave the apartment. And it's like, I don't want to live my life like that. That's actually a form of abuse. That's a form of abuse. If you were to lock your kids up in the apartment and you never allow them to leave, that's a form of abuse. So why would I abuse myself by only staying in my apartment?
mm,
Why would I abuse myself by only staying in my bedroom 24/7? Oh, well, it's because I'm scared. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to go to the movies alone. Okay, that is more of a level down type of mindset. I don't care about going somewhere alone. Do you know how many events I am signed up for right now? I'm going to be going alone. So if one of my friends wants to come with me, they can, but they don't have to because, bitch, I'm the main character. The fuck? I don't know what you think this is, but yes, I'm the main character in my own life. So, no, I'm not going to allow the fear of being alone to stop me from enjoying my life. So, I will go out to the art museum. I will go to the park. I've actually gone to the park and like done a cute little picnic for myself. I'll get an iced coffee for myself. Sometimes I'll bring my yoga mat. I will bring a book or I'll listen to my audiobook because I'm the main character.
right,
And women who have this beluga mindset where they sit inside and they watch Netflix all day,
right.
they're sabotaging themselves. I've talked on this channel before about how I don't really watch a lot of movies and stuff. I don't really watch a bunch of movies. I don't keep up with all the TV shows and stuff. Number one, there are so many shows. I can't keep up with all of them. But it's like, I actually will start to get depression symptoms if I continuously just watch TV. I really will. I will start to get depression symptoms. I will start to naturally feel more sad and leveled down because my brain and my nervous system knows that, wait a minute, this is not real stimulation. I'm just watching somebody else live their dreams. If I'm watching a movie, I'm watching that actress live her dreams. I'm watching a famous music artist living her dreams, winning her Grammys, going after her best life, leveling up. So if I find myself consuming more content than I create, first of all, I never do that, especially for me as a content creator. Content creation is one of my passions. So if I'm consuming more content than I'm creating, I'm doing it wrong. I'm leveling down at that point. And so when it comes to living my best life, if I'm watching other people live their best lives more than I'm going out and living mine, I'm leveled down. So a lot of women who are belugas, they're watching other people's fitness vlogs or they're watching people work out. You know how they have those videos of the girls lifting weights and stuff? It's like they'll be sitting there watching somebody else work out. And then it's like you could have been watching that while you were at the gym, doing it at the same time. But because you want to stay trapped in your prison cell, apartment 115, that's your cell number, because you want to stay trapped in your prison cell, aka your apartment 24/7, it's causing you to become even more of a beluga. Because all there is, the only stimulation in your apartment is going to be food or whatever's on your phone. That's it. That's the only stimulation in your apartment. So I don't want to train my body and my nervous system to use food as a way to cope with my own boredom. Because that's really what that is. Women who sit around in their bed scrolling their phone for 2 hours and then they're eating a bunch of food out of a bag like an animal. It's like, no, bitch, I'm not a dog. I don't want to eat these little tiny brown balls that you call Cocoa Puffs. It looks like dog food. A lot of the cereals and stuff, that is not even real food. It doesn't even look like real food. That literally looks like the type of food that you would feed a dog. And it's like, no, I'm not a dog. I'm not just going to sit here and be trapped. I'm going to take advantage of my youth. I'm going to enjoy my youth. A lot of basic Bettys and women who are bad bodied, those women at your job who want to be Karens and stuff? A lot of those women are mad because they wasted away their youth. They wasted away their 30s. They wasted away the time that they had when they were younger. And so that's why they're leveled down and they've got diabetes, they have high blood pressure, they got heart disease, they have all this shit going on. They can barely walk, their knees aren't even working, their back is aching, their neck is all turned to the side and it's all crooked because they spent all their years just laying in bed 24/7. It's like now you permanently have a stiff neck because all you've been doing is laying on a pillow. Okay, I'm done. The ladies that have to walk around with like the neck brace or they have to walk around with a boot? Have you ever met somebody who's bad bodied and she always has something wrong with her? Her leg is broken, her arm is broken. She has to wear a neck brace. She has to walk with a cane. It's like, sis, you're 35. Why are you walking with a cane? That is a form of self-abuse. If it is considered abuse, would you do that to a child? Anything that you're doing to yourself right now, staying locked in your apartment, only being allowed to go to work and then come home. If you were to do that to a child, your child would resent you because you're kind of over sheltering the child. So it's like, why would I do that type of behavior with myself? Where I'm sheltering myself so much so to the point where I can't even leave my apartment. And then it's like, yeah, of course I have no motivation. I'm just trapped in this cell. I'm trapped in my neighborhood. A lot of women will be like, oh, I hate my city. I don't like the neighborhood I live in. Bitch, you haven't even been outside of your house in 6 months. What are you talking about? I don't like my neighborhood. What neighborhood? Do you even know what's in your neighborhood? Have you even tried to do anything fun? Oh, my city is not fun. The state I live in is not fun. My country is not fun. Name 5 cities that you've even been to in your state, and then I'll listen to you. Because a lot of the women who have this beluga mindset, a part of the reason why they're not motivated to like get healthy is because they don't experience anything. A lot of them have a closed-minded point of view, and so they're too scared to do stuff by themselves. They're scared of people looking at them. So you're telling me I have to turn my apartment into a prison cell because I'm afraid of people looking at me? Oh my God, I'm so scared. Their eyes are going to turn and look towards me, so I can't go out now. I'm just going to be trapped in my cave. I'm going to be trapped in the abyss of apartment 315 because I'm scared that people are going to look at me. It's like, yeah, no wonder you have no motivation. There's nothing, there's no reward. There's no light at the end of the tunnel for women with that beluga mindset. They don't have any fun events or like fun hobbies or friendships. They haven't invested in creating friendships. Instead, they'd rather spy on people's YouTube channels, try to dox people. They'd rather stalk people online. They'd rather leave mean comments under pretty girls' Instagram pages and stuff. So they haven't set any goals for themselves. They haven't like given themselves any direction. A lot of women with this beluga mindset, part of why they have no motivation to lose weight is because they have no direction. It's like once you lose the weight, then what? Then what are you going to do? Stay trapped in your apartment? Okay, I wouldn't want to lose weight either. I would go ahead and be fat too. I would be fat, ugly, I'd have bad skin, my whole entire body, I would look like a different person if all I was going to do was stay trapped in a cell for the rest of my life. I wouldn't have any motivation either because it's like, yeah, you don't get to go out and enjoy your pretty privilege. You don't get to go out and enjoy your health or enjoy your body. So a lot of women with this beluga mindset, they don't give themselves the chance to enjoy themselves. And whenever I talk about social climbing on this channel, I'm not talking about kissing people's behinds. I'm talking about putting yourself in rooms that raise your standards. I'm talking about being around people that push you to be better.
Yeah.
So, no, not just on the internet. So, get your pretty ass up, go to the cooking class, go to the biking group, go to the volleyball club, whatever it is that you've been putting off, go to that because that's technically a form of social climbing because you're surrounded by other people who are learning a skill. You're surrounded by other people who want to connect. A lot of women, they underestimate the power of going to like conventions. You know how they have those business networking mixers and like these job fairs and stuff? A lot of women underestimate the power of doing that, but that's a form of social climbing because you're surrounded by people who have this mindset of expanding. So they're not closed minded. People talk so much shit about people being closed minded. And it's like, okay, who's really closed minded? Not only are you closed minded, but you're also closed into your apartment 24/7. If that's not a manifestation of being closed minded, I don't know what is. Women who have this beluga mindset, if you really think about it, you're fat because you're antisocial. That's why you're fat. You are fat because you are antisocial. You have no standards. So you're not going to receive any external validation and you're not going to internally validate yourself because you didn't set any goals anyway. So you're going to start eating more just for comfort or because of boredom or because there's no one watching you. There's no one expecting anything out of you. Nobody's counting on you. Nobody's depending on you. So that's why I say that women who have this beluga mindset and they sit in their rooms 24/7 and just eat and watch Netflix, well, it's because they didn't go out of their way to have other people care about their existence. And it's like, why should other people care about your existence if you don't even care about your own existence? Clearly, you don't care about your own existence in this world if you just want to stay trapped in your apartment, eating Fritos 24/7 and eating red dye number 5 and stuffing your body with gluten. Of course, other people are going to treat you bad. You treat yourself bad. So it's like you can't get mad if other people treat you how you treat yourself. But some women are eating not because they're hungry, but it's because they are lonely. They're eating out of a place of loneliness. So that's why they actually call it comfort food. So they're using the food as a way to self soothe. Some people eat because they're anxious. And for those people who are like, oh, I don't want to go out anywhere because I'm going to be by myself, it's going to make me feel more lonely. No, it's actually not. There are studies that show that even going out by yourself, that's still better than just staying locked up in your room 24/7. Because a lot of people go out by themselves. If you go to the movies, you will probably see people by themselves. You go to the grocery store by yourself, you go run errands by yourself. So doing something fun, it's no different than you running errands by yourself. So you're telling me that I'm allowed to go to the gas station by myself. I can go do all this bullshit that I don't want to do. I can do all the sucky stuff by myself. But then when it comes to something fun, I have to punish myself and I'm not allowed to go out because, a man didn't take me out to the movie, so I can't go to the movies now. Some fake ass bitch that I called my friend, she didn't ask me to hang out with her, so now I can't go anywhere. No, I'm the main character, so I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna walk around somewhere. I'm gonna get my steps in at the mall or somewhere fun, and I'm gonna live my best life, and I won't be thinking about food. And that leads me to my next point. Women who have a beluga mindset, part of why they have so much food noise is because they have nothing else to think about. You don't have shit to think about. You're just going to work, coming home, and watching TikToks. So your mind is basically empty. Your mind is literally empty. All of that energy that you have in your brain, all of those neurons firing in your brain, they have nothing to work towards. Your mind naturally wants to solve problems. So instead of thinking about food, you could literally be thinking about how can I level up? How can I become wealthy? How can I invest in my 401k? How can I go get an Airbnb and start doing that and start renting out a space? How can I plan events in my city? If you have a mind that is just blank and empty,
Right.
of course, food is naturally going to pop up in your head because that's just a base level need. If somebody is in survival mode, all they're thinking about is food, water, and shelter. So if you
Yes.
find yourself only thinking about food 24/7 and only thinking about the basics, paying your bills, okay, that means they're in survival mode. So this is why a lot of people stereotype fat people as being in survival mode because it's like, clearly you've got emotional issues or maybe you need some therapy or something. In fact, that could be a hobby right there. Instead of me sitting in the room watching Netflix, I'm going to find a therapist in my area and I'm going to go to the actual office or I'm going to go to a support group. I actually found that there was a free support group literally in my neighborhood. There is a free support group for women of color in my neighborhood. I would have never known that if I didn't look it up on Eventbrite. So all that time that these belugas are spending scrolling on their phones, they could be looking up events, they could be looking up free support groups, they could be looking up free workout classes that they have at the local park. If your life is boring, it's because you are boring, because you are the common denominator in your life. So if your life is boring and basic and bland, it's because you yourself are boring and basic and bland. I said what I said. My life is exciting because I'm an exciting person. I have a lot of stuff that I plan out for myself. So I will make an entire calendar for myself. I will look up different fun things that I can go do by myself because I'm not a boring person. I am exciting. And so of course my life is going to reflect that excitement. So women with this fat mindset where they're constantly eating, they're looking for excitement. So the cupcakes are exciting to them. Going to the grocery store is the most exciting thing to them because that's one of the only places that they go to. Think about it. The grocery store actually is exciting because there are thousands of different items in there. There's all this bright packaging. Sometimes there are people handing out samples. You actually get to have social interactions with people. Think about it. A lot of women who are bigger, a lot of them don't just order their groceries online. They don't. They go to the grocery store. They want to go drive to the grocery store and walk through the aisles. They want to look at all the food. They want to look at all the choices. Why do they do that when they could just order online? Well, it's because they're not seeking food, they're seeking stimulation. They want the excitement. They're trying to cure their boredom, and the only way they know how to cure it is by going to the grocery store. And that's because their life is boring, it's very mundane. All they do is go to the store, go to the gas station, go to work, and that's it. So they don't know any better. They don't know of anywhere else to go that can offer them the same amount of stimulation. Another thing, too, is that a lot of bigger people, they're not in proximity to high standard people. So, friends who work out, people who care about their image, especially when it comes to dating, too. I've noticed a lot of bigger women, they'll have this femcel mindset. They will be fantasizing about some guy who's in shape. And it's like, okay, you're never going to come into contact with people like that because you literally don't even reflect the type of image that those people would want to be around. I stay skinny because my life is exciting. So I'm not dieting, I'm not exercising because of shame. I'm just elevating myself. I want to show up glowing. I want to show up as my best when I go to brunches, when I go to events, when I'm hanging out with my friends. I want to look camera ready. It's always the belugas that are stressing out. The one rare time that they actually have a vacation, the one time that they actually have, I don't know, a date or some friends that they're going to hang out with. Have you ever noticed that bad bodied women, suddenly they will be stressing out like, oh shit, I have to lose 30 pounds by next week. Oh my God, I have to try to suck in my chin. I have to try to contour the crap out of my chin so it doesn't look bad from a side angle. Or they'll be at the event, they'll be like, oh, I don't want to be in the photos. I don't want to be in the pictures. That sounds miserable. That sounds miserable. Spending my life running away from visibility, running away from the spotlight. Everybody deserves a chance to shine. So why not me? So that sounds horrible, like spending my life running away from fun experiences, being stressed out. And it's almost like they have this it's like a negative feedback loop because they'll be antisocial, they stay at home, and they have no stimulation, they have no social stimulation, and so they're searching for food as a way to stimulate themselves. Then they get bigger and bigger and they look worse and worse, and then when they go out in public, their social anxiety is really bad because they know that they look bad, they know that they have not developed their social skills. That's another thing too. Have you ever noticed that a lot of women who are very in shape and very social, a lot of people who are naturally social, they tend to be more charming. A person that is called charming, if you've ever been called charming, it's because you have good social skills. You know how to be likable, basically. Like people, they find you to be very likable. They like your personality traits. There's a part of your personality that stands out. But if somebody is sitting at home eating Cheetos all day long, if they're sitting at home eating Twinkies 24/7, they don't have a chance to show off their personality. And then they have the audacity to say that somebody is being fat phobic because, they're not represented enough in the media. It's like, what do you mean represented in the media? When's the last time you went to an audition? When's the last time you went to try out for a hosting gig? When's the last time you went out for a modeling gig in the first place? A lot of women who are addicted to food, they're sitting at home. So stop trying to act like there's this huge agenda where people are just trying to hide fat people. No, a lot of times fat people are not showing up for themselves. It's not that everybody hates fat people, it's that a lot of fat people hate themselves and hate following a standard and hate having discipline. So it's like, why should I give up my platform that I worked hard for? Why should I give up a seat at the table that I worked hard for and randomly hand it to someone else as an act of charity? That's actually a form of looking down on you for being fat. Because they're basically saying, "Aw, you suck, and I know that you could never actually make it to the same level as me as a skinny person. So let me just give you my visibility as an act of charity." No, I don't want to be anybody's charity case. I don't want to go out somewhere and I feel like everyone's showing pity on me or they feel bad for me. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to have the identity of a victim. So I'm not going to sit around at home. I'm going to push past my boundaries because a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't feel like getting up and going out by myself to the park. I don't feel like it. Okay, well, that's exactly the problem right there. That statement is exactly why you're fat. Oh, I don't feel like it. You're doing everything based on your feelings in the moment. You can't do that. You can't do that all the time. It's okay to have feelings. Your feelings are valid. Do you think I feel like eating fruits and vegetables every single day? Do you think I feel like eating that much fiber? Do you really think I feel like boo booing 3 times a day? Do you think I feel like rejecting the cookies and the cake and all of the fast food? No, I don't feel like doing those things. If I was doing it all based on my feelings, I would be having ice cream for breakfast. I'd be having ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If everything was just based on how I feel, I'd be having breakfast, lunch, and dinner as desserts. I would be spending all of my money on fast food. I'd be going out to eat every day if I just lived only based on feelings. So a lot of people who have this beluga mindset and they're addicted to food, they're not good at managing their own emotions, and so they're doing things based off of impulse. They're eating impulsively, and it's like, okay, if I'm going to choose to be impulsive, I'd rather be impulsive when it comes to recording videos for my online business. That's what I want to do impulsively. I want to impulsively save money. I want to impulsively get on the elliptical. I want to impulsively run 10 miles. That's what I want to be able to do impulsively. I want my impulses to work in my favor. And another thing that I love about being skinny is whenever I impulsively want to go out, like let's say me and my friend just decide to go to a food truck or we decide to go somewhere random, I like being able to wear the outfit I really want to wear. I don't want to spend my entire life hiding my body, hiding my stomach, hiding my legs, hiding my cellulite. A lot of women are calling skinny women hoes and saying that we dress slutty. No, we're not hiding anything. That's what it is. That's why you're mad. You're mad because we don't have to hide our stomachs. We don't have to hide our legs. We don't have to hide our double chin and try to go spend $50 a month on all these bronzers and contouring powders and shit. And half the time they'll be using a contour that has sparkles in it. So you have a sparkly double chin now. Instead of just having a regular double chin, now you have a bronze sparkly double chin. So it literally looks worse. I like to stay skinny because I want to walk in the room and feel like I'm owning the room. And I'm not ashamed of saying that. Yes, I like when I walk into a room and the heads turn and everybody's looking at me.
What's wrong with that?
I enjoy receiving positive attention from my
What's wrong
body
with that?
as opposed to negative attention. I didn't say sexual attention, all I said was positive attention. And when it comes to socializing, like for the women who are staying locked up in the house, building social skill, that's something you have to practice doing. So, me sitting around eating chips and popcorn all day, that's not helping me to gain any social skills anyway. A lot of times people will be like, oh, they don't want to hire me because I'm fat. They don't want to be my friend because I'm fat. They don't want to date me because I'm fat. No, it's because you have no social skills. Because you sit in your house and you eat all day. So being fat and having no social skills, those are two separate problems. So I'm convinced that women who sit around all day scrolling their phones, eating food, not only are they harming their body, but they're also harming their social skills that can help them to get a better apartment. You know, your social skills can help you to get some friends, get a better apartment, have a social life. I see a lot of women talking about men who are incels or men who are in their mom's basement. And it's like, sis, you're also in the basement of apartment 315. You're in the basement yourself. You never leave your apartment. And don't get me wrong, I love my apartment. It's very cozy, it's very cute, but I also like to go outside because I want to see the world. I want to experience life. That's what life is all about, right? Is new experiences and kind of like enjoying yourself. Have you ever noticed that a lot of women who are bad bodied, what they look forward to is getting paid. They'll get their paycheck and then they'll get excited like, "Okay, yeah, now I get to just go grocery shopping." And it's like, sis, when I get paid, yes, I think about going grocery shopping, but I'm also thinking, okay, I get to save money. I get to invest in my 401k. I get to buy a stock. I get to go out with my friends. I get to have a new outfit. So I have more things to be excited about. I have more things that I'm looking forward to, and I want to show up as my best self because I deserve to go into new spaces showing up as the best version of me. There's a future. I have a future ahead of me. I have a very bright future on YouTube and also off YouTube. So I want to show up for my bright future in the best ways possible. And I also want to have some hobbies as well. A lot of women who are big have no freaking hobbies
Mm-hmm.
besides eating. And no, I do not count scrolling your phone or doing anything on your phone. I don't count that as being as much of a hobby because I do feel like if you're just scrolling your phone, it can do more harm than good, especially if you're just on TikTok or something like that. So that doesn't count in my opinion. I don't value that as much. I like to do hobbies that do not involve my phone. Ask the nearest obese person. The next time you're around somebody who's obese, go ahead and ask them, "Hey, what hobbies do you have?" Ask them what hobbies they have that do not involve a phone or some sort of device, and then ask them how often they actually do that hobby. Because every time I've asked somebody who's very overweight, like, what are your hobbies? They'll say, oh, I like crocheting, I like knitting. Oh, okay, when was the last time you did it? Oh, I haven't done it in the past 2 years. Okay, so that's not a hobby then. A hobby is not something you do occasionally. And then some of them will be like, "Oh, my hobby is cooking." Okay, cooking for yourself, or do you go to cooking classes? Because that's when I would consider it to be more of a hobby. I said, "What is your hobby that does not involve a device?" So if you're cooking at home, a new recipe, you're probably using a device. You're using your phone or something in order to cook that new recipe. No. What hobbies do a lot of big women have that don't involve a device? I'll wait. A lot of them don't have any, and that's exactly the problem. That's what the problem is. So it's like, if you like cooking, you could at least go to a cooking class and get out of the house and actually have a professional chef tell you how to cook something, and maybe learn how to cook healthy foods. Another thing too is that when you eat food, a lot of times you're getting a dopamine hit. And I try to get my dopamine hits from other stuff besides food. So I'll get a dopamine hit from like hanging out with my friends, going somewhere fun, meeting my goals, meeting my body goals, learning how to slay a new hairstyle. And instead of me living vicariously through all these beauty influencers or actresses and singers, I want to live vicariously through myself, if that makes sense. I want to be my own celebrity in my own life. I want to be the star in my own life. So this is why I don't get upset when other women say, "Oh, I'm the baddest bitch in the world." Well, because you should be the baddest bitch in your world. You're the only one living your life. So, yeah, I want to be the main character in my own life. I'm not going to sit on the sidelines or be bedridden. Imagine literally being bedbound when you're fully able bodied. Because that's how a lot of women are acting. A lot of women who are bad bodied, who sit around all day, they're literally acting like they are bedridden. So they're sitting in their apartment waiting to be summoned by their 9 to 5 job. They only come out when they're summoned by their boss. They only come out when they run out of food and they have to go to the grocery store. Some women don't even go to a new grocery store. You're going to the same Winco that you've been going to for 5 years. You're going to the same Vaughn's grocery store that you've been going to for the past 15 years. And it's like, yeah, of course I would be addicted to food if that was my life. If the most exciting part of my life was just going to the store or watching somebody else live their dreams. But another thing that makes you a beluga is when you have no one to connect with. No friends, no family members, nobody that you're socializing with. So that's why I always emphasize building a community around yourself. And I know that some girls go through this phase where it's like maybe you don't have any friends for a little while because maybe you're in a transition period in your life, and that's okay. But that should just be a transition period. It shouldn't be like, oh, for the rest of my life, I'm just going to remain isolated from everybody. That doesn't make sense. That's actually impossible for you to truly succeed without anybody else. No. If you have a business, for example, you need customers, right? So you need to interact with other people. If you want to date or something, you need to interact with other people. If you want to make friends, you have to go out and be friendly. So you'd have to go talk to people in the coffee shop. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I will talk to girls in bars. Like if I go to a bar, let's say I go by myself, I'm waiting for my friends to show up. If there's a girl sitting next to me, especially if she's a fellow exotical, I will start a conversation with her and I will actually get her number. Me and one of my friends, I actually met a girl like that recently. We're going to be going to the movies this week. So if your life is boring, it's because you are boring. If you want friends but you have no friends, it's because you are not friendly. You're not friendly. And that always used to get on my nerves. It's like, okay, you want me to be nice to you. You want me to be friendly towards you, but bitch, you ain't friendly towards me. If you want people to speak to you, then speak to them. If you want people to be nice to you, be nice to them.
Right.
If you want people to invite you places, invite them
Right.
places. And then you will develop like more groups of friends. Because another thing too, I've noticed that some women who are big backs, first of all, they will have no hobbies. And I'm speaking from experience because a lot of the girls that I hang out with, I tend to only hang out with girls who are in shape for the most part. And part of that is because a lot of the girls I know who are very obese, their hobbies are just eating. And it's like, okay, I can't eat out every day. I'm not going to eat out 5 times a week or just spend all my money up. That's not responsible financially or in terms of my health. So I need friends that have other hobbies that don't involve food. But another reason women stay in this beluga mindset is because they have no goal to be in the public eye. So they're not going to level up to that point. They're not going to be in the public eye. They're not going to be on stage anywhere. They're not going to be photographed anywhere. They're not going to post anything on social media. So it's like, yeah, of course they're fat. They're not going to be seen. They have no visibility, and they don't make it their goal to have any form of visibility at all. Which is actually, in my opinion, having no visibility is bad for your mental health, because if you look online right now, you'll see thousands of girls complaining about how they don't have visibility. So, a part of what keeps me motivated to stay snatched is the fact that I know I'm going to be visible. If I have an interview coming up, I have something going on where I'm going to be on video, if I'm going to be around my friends, a lot of people will wait until their vacation to get dressed up and look cute. I'm not waiting until my vacation. Every day is a vacation, bitch. I don't have to leave the city in order for me to have fun. No, I can have fun right here in my neighborhood. Every day is like a vacation for me. Every day is lit in my life. I don't have to wait until New Year's Eve to have fun. I don't have to wait until a specific day or a specific vacation in order to have a good time and celebrate. I am the celebration. I don't have to wait until my birthday to celebrate. Bitch, every day is my fucking birthday. Every day is worth celebrating. Every day is worth me showing up and being my best self, because I value my life. Women who sit around and eat potato chips all day, they do not value their lives in the same capacity as women who are disciplined. They don't. But anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.
Hmm? We're going to continue. Let's go. We're going to be cancel that. Did not go there. We are going to continue attention. We're not going to go for the tip. Let's get into what you do in your
Hey,
time.
Pretty Girl Club. Welcome back to the Beluga series. I was just sitting here drinking my coffee. I made my fruit smoothie,
Blow
and I
up.
was thinking
Like
about how
picture.
there are a lot of women who try to socially compete with exoticals, and they make all this content about leveling up. And have you ever noticed how they conveniently skip over actually being at a healthy weight? They do all this talking about being classy and getting with a man of a different culture and going to these country clubs, but they don't talk about how to actually survive and make sure that your body is functioning properly. I don't want to go in the country club with 5 rolls on my stomach, and I'm literally walking around the country club clenching my butt because I'm trying to hold in my boo boo because I had too much processed food. So, a lot of the social problems that you see women complain about online, they can be solved by simply losing weight. And then I hear women saying, "Oh, I don't have pretty privilege." Are you ugly or are you just fat? Because for a lot of the women that say they don't have pretty privilege, it's not that their face is that bad. It's really that they just have 5 chins, or they're bloated, or they're breaking out. Their skin is bad because the food that you eat, it actually affects the quality of your skin. Sugar breaks down your collagen. So I promise you, 90% of your pretty privilege problems, 90% of your social problems, or feeling inadequate, like you don't belong, a lot of that can be solved by getting healthy. And also, when it comes to overeating, I don't want food to be my only hobby. You know how people are like, oh, I'm a foodie. Okay, well, I don't want to be a foodie every day and every night, 24/7. I want to have other interesting qualities about myself, so that even when I do meet these cool friends, or, for those of you who are like trying to date and all that, what are you going to do once you start dating? Just go to the country club and just eat every day? Just go to a restaurant and eat? Just be shaped like a bowling ball and then hope that he doesn't look at anyone skinny? No, that's unrealistic. But a lot of women, they become belugas because they eat when they're bored. So when they're bored at work, they eat, they snack on some crackers, and they're not tracking every bite that goes into their mouth. First of all, if I feel a temptation to eat and I know that I'm not hungry, oh, by the way, if you're not hungry, you're gaining weight. I just want to throw that out there. Like, generally speaking, if you're eating when you're not hungry, you're probably gaining weight. If you're not waiting until you're hungry to put food in your mouth, you're literally just stuffing your face for no reason. That's why the body has hunger signals. It's supposed to be telling you when to eat. You're not supposed to be just stuffing yourself 24/7. But if I'm at work or something and I find myself randomly bored, I'm not going to turn to the cookies. I'm going to step outside. I'm going to go get some fresh air. I'm going to go get some sunlight because that's like a good way to have dopamine. I'm going to move my body a little bit because I notice that sometimes when I have had food when I'm bored, it's not that I'm hungry, it's more so that I want stimulation. So instead of using the food as stimulation, I try to do something else with my body. I try to do something else with my hands. Some of you guys are looking for the sensation of digging into the crunchy chip bag, feeling the sound, feeling the ASMR, hearing the ASMR of the chip bag crunchy and making the crinkly noise. Then you want to feel the little powdery barbecue chip in your hand, and then you want to have the sound of it crunching. That is a sensory experience. So if you're like me and sometimes you're craving a sensory experience, what I will do is I will actually find something else to do with my hands. So if I'm working from home, I will go and fold some clothes. Lately, I've been getting into organizing and scrubbing stuff. So I will get one of my little Clorox bleach wipes and then I will start scrubbing the sink or I'll scrub my bathtub or something. Now I don't want to eat because I got bleach on my fingers. So I'm still getting the sensation and I'm kind of breaking that habit of always being bored with my hands and then I instantly want to put food in my hands and put my hands in my mouth. No. I can go and scrub something. I will go and organize like my nail polishes. Another thing that I used to do too at my job was I would have a nail polish at work on my desk. So if I get bored, instead of reaching into a chip bag and grabbing a handful of chips, how about I reach for my nail polish? I will just paint one nail. I don't have to do a full manicure because maybe I only have 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, so I just paint one nail. So I'm still having a sensory experience. I'm still touching something and I'm holding something in my hand and I'm being precise by, painting my nail and I'm getting a sensory experience. Another thing you can do too is set the timer. I've done that before. Like, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, well, it's only 11:15. Can I wait 15 minutes? And then I will tell myself, okay, let me eat. Let me wait 15 minutes, and then if I'm still hungry, then I can eat. So kind of delaying the gratification a little bit. That also helps me. And for those of you who struggle with food noise is like when you are fasting or maybe you haven't had food in like an hour and you can't stop thinking about food. I try to start my day off properly. I talk about, in the Patreon, I talk about the difference between a beluga meal versus a healthy meal. So anytime I would start my day with sugar, if I'm having cookies for breakfast, I'm having a cupcake or a muffin for breakfast, that's going to cause me to have more food noise as the day goes on. I've noticed that for my body, whatever I start my day out with, that's what I'm going to crave the rest of that day. So my breakfast, it really is the most important meal of the day for me. So I try to have like some sort of fruit smoothie with protein in it, or maybe I'll have some eggs or something healthy. I want to stay away from sugar at all costs. I want to stay away from processed food at all costs. That is the absolute worst possible breakfast. As a matter of fact, there was this one lady at my job, and she was obese, and I noticed every morning she would have processed food. Like I'm talking, the stuff from Walmart where it's like a prepackaged sausage, egg, and cheese muffin, or like these little pre-made breakfast bowls that were very high calorie, like 700 calories. So she was already starting off her day with processed foods, poisons, and chemicals. So what do you think she was craving? I've noticed that all the obese women I've ever worked with, yes, I observe obese people in the workplace. Well, when I used to have a job, I did. Because for some of you guys, that's going to help you. It'll teach you what not to do. Go and observe anybody you know that's big. Go observe them. What do they eat? What time do they eat? How many meals do they eat? I guarantee they eat more than 3 times a day. And I guarantee they probably eat processed food for breakfast. Or they will starve themselves and then they wait until they're super hungry, like ravenously hungry. And then they'll tell everybody in the office, oh, I haven't had food all day. Oh my God, it's 2 p.m. I haven't even had breakfast. So they're panicking and spiraling in the office because they didn't have a donut that morning. And then they want to announce to everyone that they haven't had anything as if that's going to make them look like they're 100 pounds skinnier. And then since they waited too long and they're like ravenously hungry, then they go overeat. They will go order out every day. So what do your fat coworkers do when it comes to their meal habits? Do the opposite. Okay, so do you have coworkers who are big? They eat out for lunch every single day. They get these big ass plates of Mexican food. They're eating 8 tacos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh, but tacos are healthy. They're small. Not when you eat 8. So, observing your surroundings and the eating habits of those you do not want to look like, that's actually helpful. That's helpful because I noticed this one girl, I remember there was this one girl that I used to know a long time ago. She also was big, and her problem I noticed was eating at night. So we would have dinner, and then a couple hours later she'd be like, "Oh, I want some more food." So then she would eat like a big giant plate of chicken nuggets or a big giant plate of chicken wings, like a mountain of food. And I told you guys, small women eat small portions. If you are a size medium, you eat medium portions. If you are a size large, it's because you eat large portions. If you're a size extra large, you eat extra large portions. I said what I said. It's not the entire fashion industry that's messed up. No, they create clothes for people based on the portion sizes they think that that person had. So, whatever size you are, all you have to do is ask yourself, do I want to stay this size? Do I want to continue eating medium sized portions for the rest of my life? Or do I want to try small because, I'm already right there? And for those of you who say, like, oh, well, a size large is good enough, a size 12 is good enough, it doesn't make that big of a difference. The only women I hear saying it doesn't make a big difference are women who have never had super toned washboard abs and no fat on their backs. It's only the women who have always been the same size who make that comment. Because I can tell you, as somebody that's been medium, a large, a small, and an extra small, I can tell you, society sees a difference. Yes, the attention you get is different. I know that it doesn't sound like a big difference going from size medium to size small or extra small, but no, it does because when I go to the gym or if I'm showing my belly at all, like I'm wearing some sort of belly shirt, I'm working out, people actually look at my stomach. They're like, oh my God, oh wow, look at your abs, or look at your shape, or wow, you're super tiny. So, yes, the attention is different for those of you who care about attention. And yes, there is definitely a difference in how I'm treated and how I'm perceived at a size small to extra small versus something as simple as a size medium. So just because you're not overweight or obese, that doesn't mean that like you're done. There's always another level is what I'm trying to say. There's always another level. There are always other opportunities that can come from being super small if that's what you want to be. As long as you're a healthy weight, then who cares? But as far as not overeating, so I will step outside instead of eating when I'm bored. Number two, I only eat at the table. When you're at work and you have a cubicle, your cubicle was not made to replace the lunchroom. If it was, then they wouldn't have a break room at all. They wouldn't have a lunchroom. No, you're supposed to have a mental break from where you eat versus where you work. So I don't eat like in my bed. I don't eat in the bathroom. I don't eat in the car or like these random places. I have a designated area where I eat, and that's the kitchen. It's at the table. Because if I eat somewhere else, most of the time I'm going to be rushed and sloppy. So women who have a rushed and sloppy way of eating, that's why they end up looking rushed and sloppy. That's why their body looks sloppy. That's why when they put on their contour, it looks like they rushed because they were trying to contour away their 5 chins. They were trying to contour away the iguana chin. And yeah, it looks like you rushed because now you have a big brown square hanging from the bottom of your face and it's unblended. So no, I'm not going to rush. My body is the most important thing in my life because, if you don't have a body, then you're literally not on this earth anymore. So I don't understand why people, they want to prioritize all these other things, but none of it matters if you're not alive to enjoy those things. But to prevent boredom eating, I will have high protein with every meal. So that's why you see some people saying, oh, try to get 30 grams of protein with breakfast, 30 with lunch, and 30 with dinner. I don't always follow that, to be honest. Part of that is because I don't always have that much protein just in my fridge or prepared. But I will try to get some protein, and I do prioritize protein snacks. So, for example, Greek yogurt is kind of like a protein snack for me, or it's more of like a protein dessert. Um, Trail mix, so the nuts that has protein in it, the little like beef jerkies or like the little pepperoni sticks. Well, they're not pepperoni. They're made of either beef or turkey. They're called chomps. You can get those at Trader Joe's. That is a source of protein. So whatever snacks I'm purchasing, I just try to replace it with the protein version. Did you know that they have candy replacements that have protein in them? So like the protein Reese's, I can't remember the name of the brand, but like I will do stuff like that. So instead of reaching for candy, I try to go to the healthy aisle when I'm at the grocery store. I will get a protein bar that kind of tastes like Reese's. Instead of eating Pop Tarts for breakfast, I'll try to get some sort of protein Pop Tart if that's really what I'm craving. So that helps me to not have as much food noise. It helps prevent the boredom eating. And by the way, protein, it's literally what your body is made of. So you want to have protein so you can have like muscle tone and stuff. You don't want to have that skinny fat type of look. But another thing I will do to stop the boredom eating, if I'm bored, so you know how I said I do stuff with my hands, so nail polish, I will put on a face mask if I'm at home. I will clean up, I'll fold clothes, maybe making my bed, maybe vacuuming. Do you have one of those handheld vacuums? I've done that before. So just vacuuming like on my couch or on the little rugs or whatever. That's another way that I'm using my hands. So I'm getting stimulation. I'm getting a sensory stimulation, but I'm doing it without eating. That's why I said step outside, because going outside, it stimulates your senses. It's a different temperature outside. You're going to hear different sounds outside. I will also do yoga poses, so like the cat cow, that actually helps to stop cravings. It helps your food to digest a little bit better. I will also make tea. So at my old job, I actually brought my tea kettle to the office and I would keep it in the break area. So whenever I was bored or wanting to get up and kind of walk around for 15 minutes, I would brew some tea because that's another sensory experience. I'm smelling the apple cinnamon tea, I'm smelling the spices from the tea. I can feel the hot steam kind of rising up to my face. It feels warm in my hands. I can hear myself drinking if you slurp the tea, which is nasty, but for those of you who do slurp, you can hear yourself slurping the tea. So it's a sensory experience. Number 4, if you have to eat, have a piece of fruit or a vegetable, like a raw vegetable. Oh, I realized too that a lot of why I didn't like vegetables before, it wasn't that I didn't like veggies, it was that I didn't like steamed vegetables. I don't like zucchini noodles because they're nasty. I don't like kind of this soft, almost like a wet. I feel like some steamed vegetables are like slightly wet and they don't hold seasoning super well. So that was a part of why I used to not like vegetables. So if you don't like vegetables, it's not the vegetables. It's probably just that you don't like how they are cooked. So what are your favorite textures? Do you like crunchy foods? Like me, I love crunchy foods. Anything that has a little bit of crunch. So with the vegetable thing, I started making roasted vegetables. Or I would just eat the raw vegetables. You know how they have those veggie platters with the carrots and the broccoli? I actually like stuff like that because it has a crunch to it. It's not this super soft type of broccoli. I actually prefer a raw piece of broccoli and then I just dip it in something yummy versus some nasty ass steamed broccoli with no seasoning on it. So learn how to make vegetables in your favorite texture. If you like crunchy, you're lucky because you can just do raw. Or you can do stir fries. I do a lot of stir fries and roasted vegetables because that also helps to get the crunch. I like air fried vegetables as well because again, it helps to have a little crispiness to it. I like crispy, crunchy types of foods. And by the way, I saw that there was a study where it said Americans that that's our favorite texture of food is like this crispy, crunchy food. So don't rely on steamed vegetables if that's not your favorite texture. If you don't really like slightly soft foods, then you don't want to make that your snack. So whenever you're bored, you can reach for your little pre-made thing of carrots. And then as far as the sauce, the way that I choose my sauces, it's based on whatever my favorite ethnicity of food is. So you guys know that I like soul food, I like Mexican food, some of you guys like Asian food. Well, you can go to the grocery store, they have little Asian sauces. You can make that into your small dipping sauce. Just make sure to measure it out. 200 calories max, 250 calories maximum. That's what I would do. But you can measure it out, put it in a little dipping thing, and that can be your snack. Something else that happened to me too when I started losing weight was I had to stop copying other people's diets and I noticed that I had to just cater to my own weird cravings. So, for example, with the raw veggie platters, I never met anybody who really likes those. As a matter of fact, anytime I would go to a party and they had a raw veggie platter, usually the platter is still there at the end of the party. Usually people prefer like some cupcakes or like some chicken wings or something, but I just had to embrace that that is my random thing that I like. So since that worked for me, that was my new snack. So whatever weird healthy snacks you're into, if you're into some weird combination, like if you like celery dipped in chocolate, I don't know how people can do stuff like that. Celery dipped in a little bit of Nutella or something like that. Whatever your strange food combos are, if it's helping you to stay consistent and like lose weight, just do it because that really helped me. Is embracing the random things about myself. Yes, I like raw vegetables. Yes, I like raw cherry tomatoes, like literally just straight out of the package. I can just spray them with some olive oil, put some seasoning on them, and then just eat them straight. So yeah, I like stuff like that. I can eat tomatoes like that. I also could eat onions like that, but I don't do that in public in front of other people because I don't want to like have an offensive smell. But yeah, if there's anything that you really like and it works for you, then just do that for yourself. Don't allow other people to get you off track. Like, oh, that's weird. Oh, you like rice cakes? I've seen some girls they really like those little rice cakes, and they eat that all the time. Like they will have that every day. So if that's what works for her, why is it a problem? Some people stay fat because they don't train themselves to like vegetables. You have to train your taste buds. By the way, it doesn't take that long to train your taste buds. It only takes like a couple of weeks. So for all the people who say, "Oh, healthy food is nasty," you're telling me you can't go a couple of weeks training yourself to actually like something that is healthy? That's pure laziness. But number five, way to stop eating when you're bored is keeping your hands busy by putting on hand lotion. You can massage your cuticles. If you have that cuticle oil at your desk at work, you can use that. You can file your nails. Something I actually used to do on my 15-minute breaks was I used to journal on my breaks. So I would bring my little notebook and my little fancy pen with a little fuzzy ball on it. And then I would just go down to the little break area and I would do a journal. So my hands are busy and my mind is busy, so I can't think about food. I already am having a sensory experience by looking at the paper of the journal. So if you're into stationery and stuff like that, definitely get yourself some stationery, some cute little fuzzy pens. All of that is meant to activate your senses. That's why they have pens with a fuzzy ball. Or they have like, those little stress balls. For some of you guys, that will help you to stop eating when you're bored. You can just do your little stress ball. As a matter of fact, I actually used to bring weights. I would bring the little small hand weights to work and I would just leave them in the drawer under my desk. And during my break, I would just take out my little small 1 pound weight, like the tiniest weights possible. I would take them out and just do a couple of little sets. So that's another way that my hands are busy. If you work from home, you can get a foam roller. You can get those little things where it kind of massages your muscles. I'm about to order one of those actually. I put it in my Amazon cart, but that's another way of keeping your hands busy, kind of having this sensory experience without having to consume calories. Yesterday, I was just cleaning out my purse. So the bottom of my purse, you know how your purse can get messy? I was cleaning it out yesterday, just taking out all the old receipts, throwing that away, throwing away old business cards and random stuff. So that's a sensory experience, but it was a way to keep my hands busy so that I'm not just randomly digging my hands into a bag of chips. Because I believe that your body has muscle memory, not just with dancing and stuff, but I personally believe that your body has memory even when it comes to eating and digging your hand into chip bags and going to the pantry and opening the fridge. Have you ever just walked into the kitchen and then you open the refrigerator and stand there and stare? I believe that that is muscle memory. So it's not that you're hungry, it's that your body remembers, oh, this is a part of my routine. So I try to create a new routine for my body and my muscles. So cleaning, organizing. Some of you guys have a lot of makeup that needs to be organized. Some of you guys could be cleaning and wiping your makeup. Do you have like little stains and little like marks in your makeup bag or like, something that could be cleaned? You can start doing that. I do that all the time. Putting on hand sanitizer at work. So hand lotions, hand sanitizers, I'm using my hands. I'm stimulating my senses, but I'm not grabbing food. Number 6 is decorating my desk. So cutting out little strips of construction paper. It depends on where you work and like what the rules are, but what I used to do was I would put like pink construction paper on my cubicle so it kind of looks like a pink backsplash. Or like around Christmas, maybe cutting up some green and some red little items to decorate my cubicle. That's another way that I'm using my hands without having food in them. I'm getting the scissors, I'm cutting the construction paper. I have the sensory experience of holding on to that different textured paper. I will also wipe off my phone screen. So if you have little wipes, or if they have them at your job, go get a wipe or something, wipe off your phone screen. You can go wipe down your cubicle, wipe down the counters if you're working from home. I will put like lotion on my feet, or like you know how they have almond oil and stuff that kind of heals the scars on your body. Sometimes I will do that. I will put some oil on a random scar on my body. It's kind of like a spot treatment or something. So that's another sensory experience. I'm using my hands and I'm focusing on something else other than, oh, I want something in my hands. I want chips. I want popcorn. Number 7, this helped me to lose weight when I was bored. Just doing a random exercise, just like 5 reps. So I told you guys about how when I would go to the bathroom at work, I would do like 5 to 10 squats in the stall. I talked about how when I was sitting at my desk, I might do some leg raises just in my chair. So I'm just raising my legs like under the desk. Nobody can see it. Standing up on my tippy toes, doing toe raises, just like 10 reps. Maybe doing a couple of stretches, or you can actually do ab workouts in a chair. So I've done stuff like that, just a very small amount of reps. That helps me to also stimulate my body. I'm no longer bored, and I'm getting closer to my goals instead of getting farther away. Okay, I think I'm on number 8. Browsing Reddit and seeing the weight loss story times, or seeing the story times of Pretty Privilege from before and after weight loss. I mean, that'll really keep you in check. That keeps me in check all the time. So if I'm bored, I will watch those videos of the women talking about how much it sucks. Go listen to those women talking about how much it sucks and how, they spent all this time editing their photos to try to make their stomach look smaller, and then they went on a date and then the guy said she was a catfish, or the men are trying to use them for sex because they think they're easier. I don't want to be treated like that. Or people are just, ignoring them or not speaking to them, not treating them like a human. I don't want to be treated like shit in this society. So if that means I have to be bored a little bit and just not eat, that's fine. If it means I have to, not have thousands of calories per day, that's a very small sacrifice. Another one of my daily habits too is just browsing on Pinterest or on whatever my favorite shopping website is, and thinking about how cute I'm going to look in my little skirt, or whatever outfits, kind of browsing for outfits that I can only get away with being slim. That helps to keep me on track as well, because it's like, okay, I like being able to pull off certain clothes that other women can't pull off. There are some clothes where a size small can pull it off. Size medium can't even pull it off in the same way. Only a size small or extra small can pull off certain things and feel comfortable. And I'm just being honest about that. I'm being honest as somebody who has lost weight. I can tell you that there is a difference. I shop differently now. I purchase different clothes now than when I was a size medium or a size large. Because when I was a size, especially a size large, I was always looking for clothes to cover certain parts of my body. Like, oh, I got to cover the bra strap fat. Oh, I got to make sure my arms don't look like bat wings. Oh, I got to cover my chest. I'm showing too much cleavage. Oh, well, this skirt, my butt's too big for the skirt. I got to cover it. So everything was about covering up the areas I didn't want people to see. My wardrobe was like kind of revolving around camouflaging certain parts of my body. Whereas now, in an extra small, I'm like, oh yeah, give me the teeniest, tiniest cutout. Like I love cutouts now more than before because nothing's bulging. So even if I am bloated, you can't tell at all because I'm just so small. So looking at clothes, kind of looking at these aspirational outfits, that helps to keep me motivated. If you don't like looking at clothes, you can look at something else. Makeup, nail polishes, different hairstyles, anything that keeps your hands busy. So you can go on your phone, scroll a little bit, save things to your Pinterest board. That's still better than digging into a bag of chips. And I hear a lot of women complaining about feeling invisible. Well, part of what makes women feel invisible is not meeting their own internalized beauty standard, their body not being where they want it to be. And by the way, you don't have to be a certain size. That's just, I'm only talking about my preferences for my body. I do prefer to be like maybe an extra small to a small. But whatever your body goals are, it's okay to prefer looking like that. Also, it's nobody else's business. It's nobody's business what size you want to be. It's nobody's business what weight you are. But number 9, way to use your hands without eating. Reorganize your jewelry, detangle your necklaces. Do you have a bunch of necklaces and bracelets that are all matted up and they're all balled up inside of your jewelry box? If you work from home, maybe when you're taking a break for 5 minutes, you can just work on that. Something tedious. You can do something tedious with your hands instead of eating. Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have an Instagram? Edit. Do some CapCut editing. Do some Final Cut Pro editing. Make something on Canva. Work on that flyer that you've been trying to create. Put on one of those under eye masks. Put on like one of those lip masks. Do a lip scrub. You can create your own. You can actually mix your own facial. Instead of mixing food in the kitchen when you're not hungry, create a facial. Put some bentonite clay in there, put some apple cider vinegar in there, and get one of those little paint brushes and paint that mask on your face. That's a sensory experience without having to like eat food. You can also do some painting. I actually have a painting in my bedroom. I'm very proud of it. I have a painting that I did, and I put it up on my wall. So if you have arts and crafts in your house, or if you're into that, you can do that. You can do some knitting. Are you good at knitting and crocheting? You can make your own top. Make your own shirt in a size medium. Whatever size you're trying to stay. Make a shirt in that size. Put that on. Make a hat. It's fall right now, so winter is coming up. You can knit yourself a hat or a scarf, or if you have a niece or a nephew or a baby or something, you can make something for the baby. As a matter of fact, if you have a baby in the house or you have some sort of pet or something like that, go and care for them. Go give your baby a massage. Go and see if your baby, see like how the baby is doing. Go play with your little daughter or your little son. Go play with your dog. Go play with the cat. Play catch. Take the dog out for a walk. Those are all different ways that you're using your senses. You're using your hands, but you're not putting your hands in your mouth with food. One of the pretty girls was in my comments and she was like, oh yeah, I like to put on these flavored lip glosses and that helps me to not eat. That's very smart because you're getting that sensory experience. You can smell the strawberry pound cake, but it's on your lips. You didn't have to eat it. All you did was you put on some flavored lip gloss. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comments section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.